as I'm sure you must have guessed, everything in that last one was utter drivel. uh, and it kind of proves the point that I was trying to make, that when you talk about the ineffable, then you're not going to make much sense. And if you insist on it, then you really are silly. So tonight, I thought maybe I'd talk a little bit about some things that actually can be talked about. That's epistemology, the branch of philosophy that deals with knowledge, with how you know, how do you know, how do you know. And I wanted to actually say, what do you know, is even more interesting to me. For sure, I mean, without doubt, and this is kind of like where Descartes started out, that I think, therefore I am, that started out as formulated, I doubt, therefore I am. I'm not entirely certain, and I think he should have changed it, but doubt is the thought that proves to us that we are, that we exist. Because if someone's questioning whether they exist, then, who's doing the questioning? So that's one thing I don't doubt. I don't doubt. And now, what I am, that's an appearance, and I could doubt it. Anything that's just an appearance, I could doubt, but that I'm conscious of existing is also something I can't consciously doubt. I think those are that's the basic fundamental stuff, that I exist and I'm conscious of existing, and those things I'm certain of. I'm willing to say I'm certain of those things. Everything else is a debatable point. It really is. Some are way more debatable than others, and we bet our lives every day. You don't have to be certain about things to act. If you did, then all you could do would be to be there and be aware of it, and that would be that's kind of interesting. That might be a definition of enlightenment by some stretch of the imagination. But let's stretch our imaginations for a while. So that's something that I think you can say, that you're, and then within consciousness, what appears within consciousness is quite variable. Even though we have something that I think we could call consensus reality, I think that there is an objective truth, but that's faith. I don't know it. I can't ever experience it as far as I know. I think that the only way you can experience is subjective. And that's interesting, that we also, there's a third part of that consciousness and awareness, and there's I, because I'm conscious, I'm aware. And what is I? I'm not talking about, when people talk about ego and killing the ego and all that, I'm not talking about that. I is just a sense of a localized point of consciousness. It's just it's what some modern Hindu Advaita Vedanta or non-dualist thinkers, Nisargadatta Maharaj called it the dimensionless point of how did he put it? It was quite good, but it was a dimensionless point of I amness. I think that was it. It was this unlocatable sense, because really, I mean, in your mind's eye, it can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in your body. That most of us experience it now as somewhere like in our head or something most of the time. But if you close your eyes, if you go into the whole sensory deprivation, there it becomes a lot more questionable as to where exactly that consciousness is located. But it does seem to be a point. Whether it's something that emerges from a physical phenomenon building up, that's the materialist point of view, or if it's something that there's a process going both directions, and there is something that is as purely conscious and as purely awareness as there is something that's purely beingness, existence, materiality. In that sense, it's closer to the ground as we perceive it. Who knows? Maybe that's not really true. That the first thing to exist in the universe was the conscious. It's certainly an unsettled question. But that's the thing about science, that all questions are unsettled in some sense. Once again, some things are much more firm, but even the firmest article of our faith is probably wrong in some way. It doesn't fit some case. That's always been the way it is, has been in the past. Any scientist who thinks that they know things, that they understand things, that they have anything more than like a glimmer of light in darkness is an idiot. I mean, Einstein was quite good about that he even said, that it doesn't matter how much incredible amounts we learn, it's still just like nothing compared to what we don't know. It's really, I think, a scientist's understanding of the mysteries. So, well, if there are no questions,